We'll now start with the first plenary session, which title is Adapting to the New Era, Embracing Disruption and Globalization LAC Services. But before we do, I would like to invite you to watch this introductory video.
Is being revolutionized by technology, unlocking massive opportunities in Latin America and the Caribbean in fintech, agtech, health tech, and beyond. 14% of jobs will see productivity improvements from Gen AI, while only 2 to 5% are at risk of full automation. Smaller businesses face unique hurdles, but with the right tools, it also holds great potential to enhance efficiency, engage customers, and enter new markets. The future of the services sector is here, and it's bringing more possibilities. Are you ready to take the leap forward?
Okay, great. We'd like to now introduce the great panelists we have today. First of all, I'd like to introduce the moderator, Fabrizio Operti. We mentioned he is Manager of Integration and Trade Sector of the IDB. He's already on the stage with us. And the distinguished panelists we have today are Marcio Aguiar, Director of Enterprise Sales, Latin America, NVIDIA Corporation, Marina Hasson, SMB and Corporate Scale Sales Director of Latin America and the Caribbean of Microsoft, Aline Oliveira Pesente, Co-founder, Chief AI and Product Officer of Tribe, Eleonora Rabinovich, Head of Government Affairs and Public Policy for Spanish-speaking LATAM of Google, and lastly, Fernando Montero Bolognini, Managing Director for Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, and Bolivia of Globant. They are all here with us. Let's give them a round of applause for these panelists that are starting today. Fabrizio, the floor is yours. Thank you, Jeannie, for the introduction. Thank you all for being here, and especially thank you to the panelists who are joining us today in this inaugural session. As we mentioned, outsource to LAC is very important for the sector. Our region is facing opportunities and challenges. We will deal with those today, and we aim to reach to convey ideas that can be turned into actions, that do not fall into a void. We hope that out of these panels and conversations, you can take home ideas that can be implemented. We know we need to overcome failures of markets, challenges by the public sector, some of the problems that Demian was commenting on. We need the proper conditions for the sector to flourish. Services exports are growing at a 50% rate higher than goods exports. Companies are more productive than goods companies. We are generating almost 70% of employment in the region. So we are looking at an industry that has huge potential. On the other hand, there is a social and equity aspect in the employment generated in the services sector, given that the majority of employment is for women in terms of real services. And in IDB, we are a development bank with a specific financing program and specific actions program. In Argentina, we've issued the first loan with a context and a very important system of AI. We will submit a project before the government by means of Demian. We've bet on services development in Jamaica, in Chile. We're focusing on talent, infrastructure, regulations. These are all key elements for this industry to flourish. And there is obviously an AI momentum which demands infrastructure, human capital, and stable regulatory frameworks that are predictable and let the region attract opportunities. So we will begin with Marcio. We will be developing this panel in English and in Spanish. Marcio, it's a pleasure to have you here with us. He is the Director of Enterprise Sales of NVIDIA.
In our region, in Latin America's adoption of technology, and how is NVIDIA positioned to support businesses in navigating all these trends that we have been talking about.
Okay, well, good morning, everyone. Thanks, Fabricio, for the invitation. Well, NVIDIA has seen a great movement, a great trend in the financial industry, healthcare. We have a program that we accelerate some startups in the region. We have about 945 startups in the region. In Argentina, I was just checking here on my phone, we have about 65 startups. I know there's a lot of room to grow, especially from Cordoba. I've been to Cordoba many times. And NVIDIA, although you guys may see us as a large, technology company, but we do have a mentality of a startup because we are a tech company. We are, fairly new to the market. Okay, and not that many people know exactly what we do. A lot of people know that we have, I would say great GPUs that are fully in the data centers. But in fact, we are a computing platform company. We do offer a lot of softwares. We develop a lot of APIs, SDKs, optimize open source frameworks that allow, researchers, that allow all of you to apply your knowledge and develop your AI techniques. So again, the trends that we have now in our company, there's a lot of investment in healthcare. So digital biology, that is something that's changing the world. There is a great responsibility that we have for the people in the entire world. So NVIDIA will thrive, and will invest a lot in healthcare and also in robotics. Because we believe, and there's been a major trend for automated, fabrics and warehouses, and NVIDIA has investing a lot in automated robots and so forth. So again, we are just starting because every meeting that I go, every meeting that we present in the region, people start to I want to talk to NVIDIA. So again, I hope that after my presentation, I'll be here for the entire 2 days. I have the chance to meet all of you and share some of the work that we've been doing in the region and worldwide. And we also have great partners that are sitting here that also have our technologies available for you to deploy your knowledge. Okay, thank you.
Muchas gracias, Marcio. Y hablando de los protagonistas que están aquí presentes.
Thank you very much, Marcio. Speaking about the protagonists here today, we've created a task force joining all the companies that are with us today and all of the companies of the region, trying to set the game rules to foster innovation and development. So we are very glad to be speaking with you, with Marina as well. We've been partners for a very long time. Could you please share with us how are AI systems in Microsoft improving competitiveness and profitability of companies? Yes, of course. Good morning to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with us. Well, I believe that AI is the pinnacle of digital transformation of organizations. It obviously impacts on productivity, the improvement of employees' experience, how we can achieve optimization of operational processes in the organization, how we can try to reinvent and improve the relationship with clients and organizations, and how we can accelerate the curve of innovation for goods and services, and how we can take those products to the market faster or services to the market faster. In Microsoft, we see AI as a co-pilot process. People will lead the different processes, but our co-pilot will be AI helping us with the repetitive tasks, operational tasks, those tasks that maybe demand a greater analysis capability or data management capability, making our work as human beings more efficient. When we look at the different scenarios where this is having an impact, we see it impacting several industries and several areas of organizations. From the basic areas, employees using computing skills, with reading documents, managing emails, calls, online calls by means of minutes, etc. And we also see it in human resources, making candidate selection more efficient, the reading of CVs more efficient, accelerating times. There's been an impact seen in employee retention, financial prospects. When we look at manufacturing processes, on the other hand, more traditional, so to speak, manufacturing processes, everything that has to do with initial quality assessment is impacted, insurance associated with accident analysis. When we look at financial departments, credit analysis and risk analysis are being impacted. And in the legal areas as well, all of the case law assessments and analysis is being impacted. The information recovery phase is being impacted. AI can really generate a huge difference. We've carried out a study with Forrester Group globally very recently, which showed that during the time that AI has been available, there's been a huge impact, a large percentage of improvement in operational matters, employee retention impact, a 20% increase in employee retention, between 15 and 20% in acceleration increase in the go-to-market phase for new products or product innovation. So clearly we are seeing that this is a reality. If we analyze Latin America, for instance, with other surveys we've carried out, we've seen that in the last months, 57% of medium enterprises, which one might think are not the priority companies, more than 57% mention that they are already using some AI mechanism, and 25% is planning to implement that or experiment that in the following year. So people and companies are eager to learn, to leverage on AI, and in order to make the market more competitive. One last aspect I think is important to mention is that AI is the technological aspect of a process that goes beyond the implementation process. To be able to take care of people, to have people with the proper knowledge, to have the proper business strategy, to be able to know why do we want to use AI, and proper governance of that process as well is important. I believe that besides the fact that we might be able to implement this at the services level as clients, this technology is obviously very important for each organization, and our partners devote to that, to develop these different skills, to encourage our partners so that each company can become more successful. Thank you, Marina. Obviously, artificial intelligence is affecting all sectors of economy, SMEs. Many startups that are here with us today will continue to discuss the different opportunities and modalities in which we can incorporate AI in businesses. And speaking about business, the region is feeding the world. It's an agricultural region, but we have also services associated with agro-industry and technologies associated with agro-industry, such as Aline such as the ones that Aline will share with us. She's the co-founder, Chief AI and Product Officer of Thrive from Brazil.
AI to revolutionize agricultural financing and what lessons can be applied to the sector and others. And welcome, Aline.
Thank you for that. A little bit of the context. 2017 is the year when we were at MIT, I study, and then this is the year that transformers architecture, which is what is the base for a large language model, emerged. Back then, my co-founder and I, also our VP of Science, Mohammed, who works with us, we looked to each other and we said, okay, the world will scale that, right? And where this technology can be applied. And as being a Brazilian, as knowing how the agricultural food supply chain, we look at how the ag places a very important role in the world, but when you look to the capital market, it's very underdeveloped, right? It's very hard. Nobody invests on, as a retail investor, you don't buy a stock, a bond, or anything from a capital market point of view from an agriculture. It's very limited, it's emerging, but I mean, compared to what could be the $350 billion that is to feed working capital for Brazil and US, actually was very minor, the participation. And one of the reasons for that is because the capital market has a lot of need of data and understanding of risk for them to deploy capital and deploy capital at good rates. So this is where we started our journey with artificial intelligence, actually. And we found out that actually wouldn't be as trivial as we thought, because deep learning methods, which powers most of this technology, they are very data hungry, meaning for them to perform, you need to have a lot of data points. And also they have a second problem, which is financial industry requires full interpretability and trace of the data. Because it's a regulated industry, people need to know where the reasoning came from. And then our research and development took us to the intersection of emerging new techs in artificial intelligence, where we use graph technology with large language models, deep learning, and we use a variety of data in order to model the agriculture system, so then we can model the probability of a cash flow profile of a farmer, the willingness to pay of that farmer in time and in the context of the market, so that we can generate a credit risk score. And this credit risk score comes with other 5 risk score components, and now we embedded large language models in order to allow the users to ask the model what was the reasoning for that criteria. And since then, we have been able to significantly expand the quantity of investments that has been performed with ag retailers in Brazil. We also observed that our credit score, the AI-driven credit risk score, provided an uplift of up to 40% in some cases of the ability to predict events of default before any of those events, compared to the traditional methods that they were using, or even the state-of-the-art credit bureaus model. And as an AI entrepreneur, one of the things that you definitely, when we are looking, is that what the artificial intelligence in the end is, right? It's information retrieval and query of data to provide to people knowledge streaming. It's a very powerful tool when you think about that. And I think that to unlock multiple of these industries in Latin America, this technology is proven in our case that it can help to explain phenomena, can explain opportunities to the outside world that doesn't understand too much of the context of our economy in a better way than we would do through the traditional methods and traditional channel streams of communication. But it has been quite an intense journey, I would say.
Thank you, Aline. Journey, and hopefully also you meet many good partners, potential partners in this event. Eleonora Rabinovich, de Google.
Eleonora Rabinovich from Google. She's a colleague and friend of the IDBs. What steps do you think could be taken, Eleonora, to encourage the take-up of AI more intensely and faster in the emerging markets you're working in? And can you give us specific examples, which are very telltale for the audiences? Thank you very much, Fabrizio, and the IDB for the invitation. And I'd also like to thank the Argentine government that is co-organizing this event. I would like to go back to a notion Demian mentioned in his opening remarks when he referred to the possibility of accelerating economic growth and technology adoption, even in countries that had not traditionally had such large development. So I think that's very applicable to all emerging markets where we need to work jointly, the private and public sectors, to avoid a new option gap or adoption gap. And there is a possibility of creating an adoption leapfrogging, like Demian mentioned, in the area of AI. From Google, obviously, AI is at the core of everything we do. We are an AI-first type of company that places AI at the core of everything we do since 2016. And we've been working for over 20 years in developing AI. And currently, AI enhances every product I hope you use on a daily basis, like Maps or Gmail or Gemini, our Gen AI tool, and many other tools that run on our cloud. So everything is AI-centered for us when it comes to developing products and technology. Early this year, we published a report that we commented on extensively with Fabrizio and the IDB before publication, in writing it and afterwards too, called AI Sprinters, which precisely gives you a series of recommendations for emerging markets to tap into the opportunity awarded by AI in creating economic development and social development too. And in that report, many recommendations are named, but I would like to focus on 3 strategic areas and messages that I would like to leave with the audience strategically on public-private areas of action. Firstly, it's no surprise, and Demian mentioned it too, has to do with investing in digital infrastructure. And investing in digital infrastructure is not only on the physical infrastructure, obviously connectivity, data centers, the foundations on which we will develop the digital economy, but also all the complementary elements that enable an enhancement of the industry, like availability of data and open data. And a core issue for us is the adoption or implementation of policies that prioritize the cloud-first policies, because that's a gateway on which you can implement systems and software with AI at a large scale. So the first step is investing in digital infrastructure as joint work between the public and private sectors. In Google, we have a very large center of technology development. With submarine cables, we have over 5 in Argentina, Tanat and Firmina, which landed this year. We are very excited about this new investment. We also have investment in data centers in the region and in cloud regions, and we are very excited about continuing to grow with these investments in Latin America. The second point is to develop AI training, another core aspect several colleagues mentioned too. We need to create a talent ecosystem at all levels that can tap on AI at elementary levels, but also at the more advanced levels, to create the next generation of startups using AI. Again, this is an area where public-private partnership or collaboration is of the essence, and we know that for governments and states in the region, it is also a core issue to create talent. We have plenty of programs And this year, precisely, we announced for Latin America and for emerging markets of $15 million in a trust fund called AI Opportunity Agenda, where we are going to invest together with governments and civil society agencies or entities to train many more people in the use of AI tools. In Argentina, we recently announced that we'll be supporting 2 programs with 2 organizations from an investment of $1 million to train both students and elementary students to learn how to use AI, and also the workers of the so-called cyber economy, the 50-plus economy who want to reconvert, reskill, and acquire a new toolkit to work in the digital economy. There's plenty more that we can do if we work jointly with the public sector. Thirdly, and this is something else Damien said, and that we've been hearing this week at the AI Week organized by the government too, is what are the public policies and regulations that are favorable to deploying AI in a country? It's a key area. We are part of the Americas Business Dialogue, where with a group of colleagues and businesses, we're also thinking jointly about how to push the right infrastructure, public policy system to promote development in the region. And some of the key aspects of it is to think about regulatory frameworks that are proportionate and have a risk-based approach. Not all AI projects are the same, where the states and countries and governments can have roadmaps with clear goals regarding AI to guide their actions. And I think there is plenty of work to do there, too, for Latin America to become relevant with a framework that favors responsible innovation. So these 3 areas, creating digital infrastructure, creating talent, and public policies that favor innovation, we think are a key foundation within which the public and private sectors can work jointly to create even more AI development in the region. Thanks very much, Eleonora. And for the audience who comes from all over the world to Argentina, the public-private alignment, Damien mentioned it. He spoke about talent, infrastructure, intelligent regulations, and that's what the region is doing. And Argentina, too, with this program, we are funding from the IDB. So the region becoming positioned in this field, being a hub, is no theory. It is the result of constant, ongoing, steady public-private dialogue, and we are including it in the financing of the sector. Speaking about sprinters, we have Globant here. Globant is part of, I think it's been 13 or 14 unicorns Argentina has created. Unicorns are companies valued at over $1 billion. Globant has largely exceeded that figure. I met them when they weren't yet a unicorn back in 2009. It's a highly innovative company. It's spectacular, a multi-Latin company out of Argentina. Fernando, it's a pleasure to have you here. From your perspective, what's the current role of AI precisely in the areas of competitiveness, productivity, the entry of countries into the global markets, and what specific areas do you envision for working in this area? Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation. We have worked very closely from many of these organizations. We've had the privilege of helping them adopt AI. We see this in multiple industries. We are among the 10 IT corporations that are most relevant globally for 3 years now, and we're the largest in Latin America, the first to go public. We recently celebrated our 10th anniversary in the U.S. Stock Exchange. So this positioning helped us work in the region with over 1,000 organizations we've been helping in extremely diverse areas, including finance, energy, agricultural as you mentioned earlier, and that has allowed us to think about how relevant AI is for these organizations. We live in a challenging region used to changes, and AI makes available for these organizations the ability to adapt and predict. And there's something that's highly relevant, which we haven't mentioned yet today, is that AI is now available for all kinds of organizations, and that's something that has truly changed. If you look at it, 25 years ago, the kind of computing power necessary to run some of these models was only accessible for a small group of organizations. Today, a cell phone of the latest generations is up to 30 times more powerful than those machines. So the current access for organizations in a region, and by this I refer to all sizes, makes the development of AI vital for competitiveness. In our case, we've supported organizations of all kinds with some of our platforms and helped them in adoption. Depending on the kind of organization, we can see cases where pre-existing models are used or else they develop their own. And trying to give you more specific examples, for instance, in banking, analyzing a possible migration of legacy code. The banking sector in our country is unique. It has the complexities you may find in multiple countries in a single country. And there are many codes that wouldn't be easy to migrate. You could not do it in a couple of months. It could take up to a decade. However, by AI, they showed how this is reachable and reduced the timeline by 60 or 80%. So we've become relevant for these organizations. And also internally, we've reinvented our own industry by using many of these solutions to, for instance, tape that meeting and turn that into requirements, use AI to develop future architecture, development and testing too. And this is no magic. It's not that we can do it in a couple of clicks, but it definitely accelerates the region and places it at a more competitive venture. I wanted to give you two specific examples of why I think it's extremely relevant for the region. Firstly, on Demian's point earlier, for years we've heard that AI might create many jobs or that it could destroy them. Let's leave that debate aside for a moment. We think it increases the number of jobs, but no doubt it's an opportunity for our region, because given our level of development, if we had a situation whereby fewer jobs were created and more were destroyed, it will not be the case for a region. So for a region like ours, which has the capacity, the talent, and the history of exporting talent globally, it definitely awards an incredible opportunity for the region and as a country. So we've done it from Globant. We have 19,000 Globers positions supporting other Latin American countries, of the 30,000 we have as a company. So we know we can do it, and we can do it from here. So it's extremely relevant in answer to your original question for organizations and the region, everything that's going on with AI, that is. And the fact that in preliminary conversations we had points in common with the colleagues here shows the relevance of this collaboration between the private and public sectors that bring up huge opportunities going forward. Thank you very much, Fernando. That's an optimistic perspective that we agree on, but it calls for these things do not materialize of their own accord. That's why we speak about talent, infrastructure, and the right regulations for this. In this second round of questions, we will go faster, more dynamically, so that all trains leave on time. Marcio.
What advancements in GPU technology are shaping the future of AI, and how can companies like the ones present in outsourced to LAC use these innovations to export more services to the world?
Bueno, voy a contestar en español.
Perfecto.
En mi portugués.
I will answer in Spanish. Let's see how this goes. We have advanced a lot in terms of GPU architecture, software optimization. What I loved the most about being invited to be here with you is to be closer to all of the countries of the region. We've talked and interacted with them a lot, but we've been shy so far. We have a training program for countries, AI nations, that is investing in, for countries that are investing in data centers. But only 7 countries so far have joined us in that program so far. So I hope we'll have 20 more countries, 30 more countries joining us. We are advancing on that. GPU unit architectures are increasingly more complex, so we are developing architectures to see to the needs of softwares and artificial intelligence. We're also working to supply Google and all of the other companies. Thank you for your purchases. We are providing services thanks to you. Good portuñol. Thank you. You should use it more. That's a good option. Marina, what would you say is the role of cloud computing? Well, many have already mentioned it, but the cloud is the basis, the foundation in technological terms for AI to be developed. It is one of the largest disruptions we've had in the process of digital transformation of organizations. And basically, the cloud has allowed a democratization of technological aspects dealing with a high capacity to process information, to have technology of high quality, and a high level of service for all kinds of organizations, not only for the historically larger organizations who have always had access to cutting-edge technology. This is available for the whole world with regards to the quality of technology and the affordability, because you don't need large initial investments. You can increase as long as you grow, and you can reduce your service as well. We need to have a new concept of these platforms. The computing capacity, the mining, the governance with regards to the data layer, how we can integrate all of these with tools and facilities for developers to actually develop programs and applications, and how all of these platforms supports applications for the end user. For instance, Microsoft 365 Office. This generates a different experience for the employee and leads to greater productivity. This is, of course, under the umbrella of security, which is a fundamental aspect. As long as we advance in this evolution of digital transformation, as long as digital channels become increasingly more relevant, it is very important to have the capacity to offer secure services. When one thinks about the implementation of AI or an AI process, the process is an evolutionary process of continuous improvement. It's not that you turn it on and off. You continuously evolve and improve. Clearly, you begin or you start at the cloud, implementing security layers, properly governing information and data to be able to leverage on the benefits of artificial intelligence. Excellent. Thank you. Since we're running out of time, speaking of platforms and AI and Microsoft, I'd love to share with you that in Connect Americas, many of you are already part of it. We are using an AI engine with a Microsoft lab located in Montevideo So when you enter Connect Americas with your company data, the platform will automatically send you contacts, suppliers, business opportunities. So please take a look at that. It's very interesting.
Things. Which capabilities of AI must we develop in order to solve real-world challenges?
One, reasoning over small sparse data. This is not solved yet. It uses confabulations and hallucinations because deep learning methods, they require a lot of data. The second is definitely, I think we're passing a stage that people are thinking about and discovering what they can do and what they cannot do with AI. I think we also need to invest more in the capabilities of educating the customers, educating the users, educating researchers, so people understand how AI works instead of they fear them or having over-expectation.
Perfecto, bien al punto. Eleonora, AI y comercio internacional y servicios, ¿qué se puede hacer?
Eleonora, in terms of AI and trade of goods and services, what are the opportunities? Well, 2 years ago, we launched a study together with IDB analyzing the impact of technology in the region's exports. And at that time, we were already discussing AI, not only in Google, but massively. And the numbers said that the value of $140 billion would be added by means of the incorporation of technology, AI, of course, today. So this is empowering the economy and the exports of countries. Artificial intelligence is already accelerating exports. How? There are 3 manners. Firstly, it reduces costs, logistics, processes, supply chains of many companies, reducing costs and letting them access international markets. One of the examples, by means of the use of our technology, for instance, is how many companies use digital ads to be able to reach external markets or foreign markets effectively. And many clients have had a major growth because of this. Secondly, there is the ability to reach international agents, lifting language barriers, making information accessible by means of, for instance, Google Translate, which supports over 200 languages today, including Aboriginal dialects. So all of the people, all companies can daily use these products and for business or daily life. And lastly, artificial intelligence is generating and allowing research of new products and services that will later become exportable goods and services. There was a Nobel Prize winner with a project called AlphaFold, which allows the prediction of protein amounts. So there are a lot of scientific projects that can impact future exportable products. Clivy is another example of Google, a medical platform to provide care for patients in Mexico. By means of this medical platform, which is empowered by AI and which uses chatbots, this platform aims to provide care for patients across the whole region. This is one of the ways in which AI can offer or let you create an innovative product and turn that product into an exportable service. Lastly, I think it's important for us to leverage on the capabilities of AI for all of the economies and ecosystems of the region. With the IDB, if I may, we have an online course which I would like to share with you to offer and train SMEs about AI tools. I invite you to use it and spread the word so many SMEs can use and receive training. There's also a very interesting project called Capacitar. Many companies are involved in it, and it also deals with making all of the AI tools and possibilities accessible to all the SMEs. So thank you, Santiago, from the Ministry of Economy. Thank you to the IDB for allowing us companies to work with you and improve and take technology closer to companies of the region. That's removing barriers by means of technology. Fernando, I'd like to ask you lastly to speak about the myths. What would be the myths about AI for Latin American companies? How could you help us demystify those sayings? Well, if I may, I would like to use 3 examples and be very brief so we observe time. First of all, one might say that artificial intelligence is for large companies or organizations that is very difficult to implement it at smaller scales. This is false. I am seeing the creator of one of the platforms implemented in Argentina for organizations of all kinds, leading industries, energy industries, and very small companies as well can access this. So this is the first myth I'd like to eliminate. AI affects us all in our daily lives. I, of course, used AI in my car on my way here to help me summarize the points I wanted to share, for instance. Secondly, I'd say that it is definitely not that complex to use. There are many solutions that are already set up, and there are challenges to creating our own model. So everything is possible. And thirdly, the myth that AI will replace humans is not true. It definitely increases our capabilities. It is up to us to know how we can leverage on these technologies at personal level. There is a myth there. We can optimize our work. My colleagues have been sharing some examples, and we can improve at personal level, at daily life level, and at business level as well. So we can all help eliminate that myth. Thank you, Fernando, very much. From IDB, we will continue to help all of the countries of the region to access these possibilities. It's not possible for us to reach everything. We have to select the proper tools. But without further ado, I'd like to